Tube Timers. I started recording the previous session and I don't know, the computer locked up or some darn thing, so I'm doing it again. What I have is I've got my nickel electrodes in the copper acetate, the vinegar and salt solution, and then I have the object to be plated, a copper strip, on the cathode side. Now, one thing I failed to mention, if you notice, this was the cathode in the earlier episode where I made this solution, and notice how it's all become crinkly-like. It's got crinkly-like things on it. Here is the nickel, one of the nickel electrodes. It's spent. It's completely spent. I mean, it just didn't dissolve into nowhere. It moved from this electrode, the nickel moved from this electrode and deposited itself on this cathode, which was another nickel plate. Some of it I can see that I probably didn't clean it very well, and that's okay, because I'm just trying something out. See if it works at all, see what it looks like. Okay, so let me recap. In the last episode, we made a nickel acetate solution, an electrolyte. And this electrolyte will facilitate the transfer of nickel to the object being plated, in this case, a copper strip. After about 3 hours, I got this lightish green color, which the Instructables said is probably what it's supposed to be. And I said, okay, let's try plating something. So in this episode, we're going to plate. Unfortunately, the first video got... I don't know what happened to the first video. It got crashed it crashed in the operating system, or the application. So what we see in progress by about 3 minutes now is a nickel anode over here, a copper cathode over here, and plating action going on. And you can kind of see the plating action going on if I zoom way the heck in. And you can see bubbles forming around the copper strip. That means it's plating. So let's let it be for a while. I wish I could agitate those bubbles off, because I've got a bad feeling those bubbles are going to inhibit where the nickel plates. Maybe I got the current turned up too high. I don't know, but this is just for fun to see what happens. Well, Tube Timers, will give it a little bit of time, and I'll be back very shortly. Okay, we're back. I have attached a piece of wire to this screw head, and we're going to stick it in the solution and see if she plates. Or it'll plate, but the question is, how's it going to plate? Therein lies the question. So we'll get this nicely on here. It's on a clip. We'll stick this in the solution, preferably facing the electrode, because it is somewhat directional. Well, I gotta get it into the solution. I don't know why I had to be so chintzy on the wire that I used to get it in solution. Well, let's hope this is a little better. It's nice in there deep. And we attach this with a great difficulty. I don't have another one of these battery clips. Okay. There it is. It's in solution. We'll turn it on, let it run a half an hour. This time, I'm only going to use 5 amps. So, going back to what I was saying, I'm using the nickel acetate solution that we produced in the first episode. I've got a tin electrode on the positive end in the electrolyte, and I've got my target plating piece on the cathode end. Now, I know there's threads on there, and if they get all filled of nickel, that's okay. I'll just chase them with a die, because I guess that's the price you pay. Oops. This thing jumped off. Well, that's no darn good. Maybe that'll stay now. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to turn the current on. And we're going to go 50. Going to go to... I'll go to 15 milliamps. 15 milliamps. Is anything happening yet? I don't know. I think I'm getting some bubbles on the screw. It's possible that the screw won't be clean enough. I cleaned it up with a little bit of abrasive and some alcohol. So we'll hopefully we'll hope for the best and see what happens. Well, I don't know. We're not building up bubbles as fast as I'd like to see. So I'm just going to crank it up a little bit, maybe to 25 milliamps. No, 20 milliamps remains such a nice plating. I'm going to leave it alone. It's beginning to bubble, but it's going slowly. Okay, so we're going to give it half of an hour. We'll come back at theoretically 1:15, but that's just the time on the clock. Okay, hang in there, tube timers. Let's see what goes on. Okay, tube timers, we're back after half of an hour, as you can see on the clock. Let me turn off the power supply, and let us see what our plating results are. Kind of curious. Alright, let's take a look. I need a piece of paper towel or something to clean it off and see what we got. Wow. It has done some plating. Don't know how much though. It's better than it was. I'll put it in for a little longer and see if something good happens. I'll put it in for an hour. I'll come back in 1 hour. What do you think? Alrighty. Huh. Well, it certainly is plated. I don't know if it's going to polish up at all. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I've got a quick polishing attempt here. Oh, boy. Alright, tube timers, I've got a little Dremel tool for just touching it with a polish. We'll see what happens. Turn the Dremel tool on a little bit low, and you probably can hear it. Oops, not this one. Ooh. Alright, let's take a look at what did it do anything after all of that? Yes, it's brightening up. It's brightening up nicely. This is beginning to look like a decent screw. Alright, dust off some of the crap that came off of that thing. We're going to stick it back in and let it go for a good hour. Huh. Well, we kind of made that a little better, I hope, I think. Better check the anodes because they're getting pretty tired looking. I'm going to keep this thing to face the electrode if I can, because that's where the electrons or the nickel atoms are coming from. Oh boy. Yeah, that'll do. Let's take a look at our anode wires. Oh, they look very, very good. The anode wires still look very good, so they haven't lost a lot of nickel yet. Alright, we'll just stick it back in. Dang it. We'll see if we can get this plated back on. That looks good. That looks good, I guess. Can't see exactly where this... Oh, yeah, it's well underneath. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was totally covered by solution or not. Alright, power on. We'll keep on going and see what happens. I'm going about, 25 milliamps. We'll see if that does anything. Is it bubbling up? Yes, it's beginning to bubble up. So, this thing, albeit hard to see, is actually kind of working, which is neat. You can kind of see the screw head in there. And you can see the plating bubbling happening on the screw head over here. Okay, we'll let it go for an hour and see what we get on it. Alright, Toobtimers, here we are back. It's been plating for a couple of hours. Let's see what we get. Turned off the voltage, or turned off the current, however you might like to see it, say it. Let me get a little bit of a cloth and we'll just dry this out. Alright, now I'm taking and wiping this thing off. Let's see what we get. Where is it? There it is. Let's put it into its little space where it's supposed to go. See if we got anything good out of it. Well, this is polishing up very nicely. Well, I'll put a little nickel plate on it. How about that? I can polish it a bit, get it as shiny as this side, and that's all she wrote. So yes, a person can nickel plate with home chemicals, if you will, and a little bit of effort. So, Toobtimers, we've able to nickel plate something. We made our solution, so I'll go over it again. One last time. Vinegar and some salt and 2 nickel electrodes in there, passing current through that solution until it turns green. Then we can try the plating. So we put the object to be plated on the negative terminal and the anode, the sacrificial nickel anode, on the positive terminal. We move nickel from terminal to terminal. And then finally I put in the piece I wanted to try. Here it is. It looks good. It's been thoroughly plated. That's kind of a cool thing. Okay, down and below I will put the Instructable from whence this came. And I guess that's all she wrote for this Toobtime Sidetrack.